Hey guys, before we start this episode, I just wanted to let you know that we recorded this episode like literally the day before they announced the delay for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So there's a lot of Final Fantasy VII talk in here about the remake, and keep in mind that this was before they delayed the release date. So enjoy the episode, and we will see you guys soon. You're listening to Zap Night's Zap Chats, a monthly video game discussion. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Zap Chats. This is January. It's not December.
Yay!
It's January.
2020.
2020.
Didn't see that coming.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm your co-host, Kaylee.
And I'm your co-host, Danny.
You're not a co-host.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're co-hosts.
We're co-hosting.
Yes.
We're coasting you in.
We're just coasting today. As per usual, Zap Chat's just a chance for us to chit-chat about stuff. This is the first month where we've changed up our schedule, so now we have a review episode on the 1st, and then Zap Chats on the 15th, and then it repeats. So, sorry if you're here for a review episode, but you get Zap Chats instead. Our next review episode will be on the 1st.
Yay!
And it's going to be Resident Evil, which is what I've been playing lately.
How's it going?
I've only played one, I don't know, maybe 2-ish out, maybe, closer to 3 hours into the game. I don't like it as much as I liked the first one. I'm playing Resident Evil 4, specifically, on the Wii. And don't get me wrong, it's okay. I kind of like the Wii shooting, because you can aim with the Wii remote and shoot zombies with it. And that works a little bit better than the, stupid aiming on the PlayStation. But, it's less puzzly.
You know, it's funny. The Wii, when it first came out, was such a huge deal. Such a huge deal. And now it's it's just a Wii game.
Yeah.
It's the controls are, it's just a Wii game.
Well, I mean, at the time, that was a brand new concept.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they had a few games, like the Zap Gun and the Light Gun. They had that kind of stuff. But when the Wii came out, it was, a big deal because every game kind of revolved around that gimmick, if you will. And it was a great idea. I still really like Wii games, a lot.
I guess it's just, when you think about the Wii games, specifically for motion control, it's just meh.
I think the problem right now that the Wii is done and over with, the biggest issue is when you think about a Wii game, you think about the cheap garbage games.
Yeah, that's true.
The, silly games. It's called shovelware. So it's all the games that they're just shoveling out to get a quick buck. And there's so much of that polluting the market that to find a good game is hard.
You ever go into a game, a reused game shop, and there's just a bucket of DS
Game Boy Advance,
Game Boy Advance,
just, garbage games, yeah. And
it's full of Barbie.
That's kind of what the Wii has been like. You know, every time you see a Wii game anymore, it's usually just the garbage games that nobody wants. And I personally really like those games because they're terrible. And that makes for entertainment, in my opinion. You know, I'm not going to play these games from beginning to end for a review, although we have. But I'm not, what was the one that the thrift shop game we played? The baby mama or whatever, babysitting mama or whatever. And, I'm not going to play that game from start to finish.
But look at Elements.
Yeah, totally. I would totally play Elements. I still want to make time to play Elements.
That was I cannot believe how much I loved the beginning of that game.
That's kind of how I felt about the Donald Duck game, too.
Oh, yeah,
Me and Lori played the Donald Duck game just as a thrift shop game, but I liked it enough that I thought maybe between the two of us, we could just sit down and beat it. And honestly, looking at the numbers, a lot of people really like that game. A lot of people listen to that podcast episode.
I thought for sure, which was not a Wii game, I thought for sure you were going to finish playing that Treasure Planet game that we did.
I kind of want to. Yeah, I kind of want to.
I love Treasure Planet.
Actually, there was another game, too. the Build-A-Bear game.
Oh.
Like, it was silly and simple, but like there was something about it that just made me want to keep playing. Like there was a couple more levels there was a couple more like islands to unlock, and it's like, no, I can just keep playing this game.
I don't think I shared the same sentiments on that game, but I can see why it was. Yeah, I can see why you would feel that way though.
But it's cool to be able to sit down and play some of these thrift shop games, if only to get a sense of, a little bit of each one of these games. I'm getting them for, $1, $2, no more than $5 per game. And to just sit down and experience it for, a half hour, 20 minutes or something is great. And every time we do these thrift shop games, we're recording it and we're posting it on YouTube. So if you guys are interested in these odd thrift shop games, check out our YouTube channel, because we're pushing them out way more often. We're starting to push them out more often than we used to. So this year, I really want to focus on doing more thrift shop games, and we've already got a handful of them in the queue ready to be uploaded. We just uploaded one. What was the new one, Lori? I don't remember. Oh yeah, the sushi go round. So we played, this little sushi making Wii game, and it's up there. So if that sounds like fun, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. I would really appreciate that. Speaking of YouTube, I thought maybe I would mention we are changing up the way we're doing our YouTube channel. So originally we had our one YouTube channel polluted with all of my Let's Go game, or my the Let's Play games. So like now all of that is being pushed to a new channel. So it's called Zap Plays right now. I might change it just because I might, but it's not a big deal. It's just a place to put it. So if you guys actually enjoy those like Let's Play videos, go check out Zap Night Plays, and you can see all of them. I'm in the process of re-uploading them, so that's kind of what's going on right now. But eventually that's going to be the ultimate spot for all of our full series game. From if I stream it, then it's going to go into that area, basically, is what it boils down to. The thrift shop games and the podcast episodes are still staying on the Zap Night Gaming main channel, but we're pushing some of the other stuff elsewhere, is all that's going on. So anyway, what have you been playing? Anything fun?
No, I know. I need to...
Have you started 7 yet?
I haven't, but I did finally finish the, post-game stuff for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Okay.
So I did finally finish that.
All right, well,
it took
we'll
a while.
have to talk about that. But I did start Final Fantasy VII. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 4. And I really like Final Fantasy VII. Imagine that. I would have never guessed.
Right.
It's a great game.
Your favorite of the Final Fantasies?
It is, yeah. It very much is. And I've been streaming it. So if you guys like people streaming Final Fantasy VII, make sure you check out our Twitch channel. Anyway, I've been streaming it, and it's kind of boring because there's not a whole lot of people in the stream, which is fine because I still just enjoy getting content out there. But it's really hard to sit and play this game and not hum every single song because I love the soundtrack so much that as I'm playing it, it's just like,
that first day I had popped into your stream and I was actually typing out some of the sound effects to the games.
It's so great. I know.
I don't think that was the song, but that's funny.
So, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, let's talk about the remake a little bit. I have some strong opinions on this remake. And I know that they just, a demo has been leaked or whatever.
Here's the thing. You remember, Endgame, because I know you're not into the Marvel games, but, Endgame came out, and there was, people not wanting that spoiled, and it was such a big thing. And even I seem to remember back when Harry Potter was super popular and people were you'd hear there was a video out there of a guy screaming who dies to people lined up to see the movie.
Yeah.
Those are garbage people.
Yeah,
for one thing.
Know.
But
it's the same concept as when we went to go see the Final Fantasy 15.
Oh my gosh, the kid.
The movie.
And that's the beginning of the game. That kid drove me insane. The thing is, I guess it's just for the demo to leak, it's kind of like seeing your Christmas presents before Christmas and then opening your Christmas presents when it finally is here. And it's just like, why? And I guess if you're fine with that, if you have no personal like attachment to 7, it's one thing, but like it's such an important thing to both of us to play this remake as it is.
Okay, think about it like this. A demo is basically a interactive ad for the video game. Like, you would get a demo in order to try out a snippet of the game to see if it's something you want to buy. And from a non-fan point of view, if you know, of course, everyone's heard of Final Fantasy VII. Everyone. Even non-gamers have heard of Final Fantasy, and most of them have heard of 7.
Right.
In any case, for this game to get so much hype, for the non-fans to look at it and be like, maybe I'll try the demo for free and then decide if I want to buy it or not. But from a fan's point of view, the demo was stupid. Well, there's no reason other than to test the gameplay. Like, if you're on the fence of buying it, you get a chance to test the gameplay. But from my point of view, I'm buying the game regardless.
Well, that's true. I agree. But, like, I guess for me, like, we know going into this that they've added a little bit of, like, extra story or content, if you will. And, like, I don't know anything about the demo. I didn't even look into it. But, like, how much of that is in there? Like, I don't want to be spoiled. I normally I don't like watching trailers or screen caps. I have been doing it in this case for 7 Remake, but like I don't want too much spoiled. I want to be surprised when I want to play it as it's been intended, you know?
And have your mind blown while you're playing it. Yeah, absolutely. I guess from my point of view, I already know that the graphics are better. I've seen enough of like gameplay demos, like obviously not like this leaked demo, but like I've seen enough of the like gameplay like trailers that it looks beautiful. Of course it's going to look beautiful. It's Square. Right. Like they're going to do the best they possibly can to make it look amazing. Okay. It looks better. The story, we already know the base story. We know that they're expanding on the story a little bit. Whatever, it is what it is. Like I want to experience that as I play the game. Right. All that's really left is, like, gameplay, and at that point, I'm already sold, so, like, why do I need to experience the gameplay? Just let me experience it when I play it. So, like, I have no desire, at this point, like, it's coming out in 2 months. I have no desire to have it ruined in any way. I would rather just stay completely away from it and let it be what it is. We already know we're gonna get it. That's all that matters to me. like that's all I need is I'm guaranteed that I'm gonna be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake soon. That's enough.
I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but I feel like the general consensus for a lot of the Final Fantasy fans is pretty much the same. It's just I don't want to see the spoilers. I don't want to. I just want to wait till the game. It's almost here. We can just make it a little farther.
My biggest fear is that when the demo comes out, people are going to be talking about how terrible it is, and it's going to make my hype fall because of that. Now, I remember like when 15 came out, people didn't like it. And it made my people hate this game already and it hasn't even released yet. But then I played it and I loved it. So, like, you know, I'm just going to completely stay away. I'm going to let people say whatever they want and I'm just going to look away. You know, and then when the game comes out, it'll be what it is.
The community I'm part of on the set of forums, they actually have made it so that we don't really talk about, or at least spoiling. Like you have to make a warning, and but they make it a point. Like we don't want to talk about that. We don't want it on here. If you keep it in a more private discussion, like I'm not barring you from doing it, but and it sounds like that there's several places that are kind of doing it that way, and I think that's kind of nice because like as a community, it's like no,
absolutely. So I don't know. That's my piece on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I do want to bring up one more thing, too. I was thinking about the remake and how there's some people out there, like, they're experiencing this for the first time. And I think that's really interesting. Yeah. And not only that, but some of these people who played it as kids are playing it with their children. I think that's something special. Yeah, I don't know. Absolutely. Well, maybe we've talked about this before. I don't know. But
this is a big deal. I mean, this game was huge for the Final Fantasy series as a whole. Like, it perpetuated the entire series. This game came out and they had to re-release all the prior games.
Right.
So, like, you know, yeah, it's a big deal, and remaking it is a big deal. And they have Square Enix has a lot on their shoulders, a lot riding on this game. So, you know, I understand, you know, people don't want to be spoiled, people just want to play it. Obviously, people are going to want to play with their kids because it means a lot to them. And it means a lot to me.
Right.
And so when I play it, I'm not going to stream it. I'm playing it
just as you intended.
I'm just going to sit down in the chair and play the game.
I've even dabbled with the idea of like having like a kid night of like getting a whole bunch of like crappy snacks and pop and stuff and just
totally.
kind of vegging out. And just...
I would love to take some time off of work to play this game. Unfortunately, I have a brand new job and I can't just like willy-nilly take time off. But
well, I'm getting the game late because of how I ordered it. Yeah. So I mean, it's just I'm gonna have to just stay off of the internet. Apparently,
you're gonna have to. Yeah, you are.
But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm really, and it's so close.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, I want to get the Final Fantasy VII, the OG Final Fantasy VII podcast episode done and beat before this game comes out. Because when this game comes out, everything else is getting shelved. So
right.
like. We have 2 months. We have to beat this game in the 2 months. We have to just knock it out, and then in March, when the remake comes out, we can just play it and review it. And I realize that it's just one part of the whole story, but I'm so excited for this game that I just want to play it and review it right now.
That's the thing. I don't know enough about what is in part 1, and there's been a lot of questions of how far does it go? Does it go to the end of Midgard? Does it, it makes you wonder.
I think that was an official comment, was that it went till Midgard. But again, I haven't, I've been staying away, so I don't really know.
How far are you in 7? I mean, how many hours?
I am about 5 hours into Final...
so you're getting close to leaving...
I'm very close. Like, I
mean, 5 hours, you're a long time in Midgard.
I think I'm in jail right now. Or like, I'm right about to go to jail. You're on the cusp. Yeah. Like, almost.
I mean, when you think about it, like... When I think about Final Fantasy VII, which most people have played it by now, but like the first part of the game is almost literally it's just Midgard. Yeah, it's such a big part of the.
It is, but I don't know if it's enough to be an entire game.
That's why I think they've added.
Well, they had to have added more to it, but like. How much?
Well,
like, how could they fill
in the trailer,
that much time? Like,
in one of the trailers, they show a new member of Soldier, which makes sense because you hear of members of Soldier, but you don't actually see them in 7 itself.
Well, you see a few in Crisis Core.
Which was made several years after the fact.
I'm curious how much Crisis Core is going to be in the remake.
I've wondered that too.
The two stories together a little bit. So, I don't know.
But, I mean, you don't see anyone other in Soldier other than Cloud and Sephiroth. So I think it makes sense that they would try and incorporate it somehow in there. And that would help extend the
gameplay.
Another trailer was released, and it kind of makes it seem like that the train graveyard is going to be like a longer, potentially. I don't know. To me, it seemed like it was going to be a longer experience, which makes sense because it kind of was a... annoying long part.
And speaking of the train graveyard, my copy of 7, I don't know, it
was glitching out like crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I've tweaked it a little bit, so hopefully it'll stop doing that. But it's just weirdness. I don't know what that was all about. So if you're watching my gameplay and you see it glitching out, it's just like I have the official version, so it's not like I'm playing a janky version of it. It's just I think it's just old hardware, like basically.
Yeah. Well,
so anything else 7-wise?
No, I'm sure if there's anything we need to talk about, we've got how many more months? 2?
We got one more Zap Chats.
One more Zap Chats?
Yeah.
All right.
we have this month's Zap Chats, and then we have next month's Zap Chats, and then after that, it's released. So like. It's so close, guys.
That'll be the entirety of that month's Zap Chats. Will just be 7. How are you doing in Final Fantasy 7? I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna end up being, but I know that all I'm gonna want to do is play this game, and I'll probably beat it before the end of the month. I don't know if you'll be able to.
I have to, because Animal Crossing is coming out.
That's true. It's coming out the same month, isn't it?
It is, yes. Like I think there's like a 2, maybe 3, but I think 2 week
Final Fantasy VII comes
difference.
out on the 9th?
No, I think it's the 6th.
And then Animal Crossing comes out on the 20th?
Man.
So, like, yeah, there's very little time between.
To be fair, I mean, we're going to be so enveloped in this, we might have it beat quicker than we think.
That's what I'm thinking, that we'll just have it beat. But, I mean, again, only time will tell.
Yeah.
We have no idea what we're getting into.
I mean, we're both busy with various different things,
right.
so...
Alright, well, let's switch gears now. We've been talking about Final Fantasy.
I'm amped up.
I know, totally.
7! Remake! Reunion!
So, my actual, like, meat of this Zap Chats was gonna be Pokemon. So, like, we're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk about Pokemon. We'll talk a little bit about the post-game.
So I finished post-game. It's like... what, an hour's worth of content?
About an hour.
I didn't think it needed to be an end game, like after the...
It should have been like...
It should have just been part of the game.
Yeah.
It just was kind of like... It almost felt like they were like, well, we don't really have any post-game stuff. Let's just move this segment after you've become champion.
What's weird to me is I feel like the post-game stuff was way more important than the actual gameplay itself. Like, the game... The main story of the game is, like, mostly your adventure and going to all the gyms and experiencing the gyms. And then, like, the crisis part is, like, this little segment. But then the post-game is, like, the crisis. Like, oh, we have to save all these Dynamaxing Pokemon that are raging in the gyms, and we have to do this right now. We have to hurry,
Well, I think supposedly the real crisis for the game was supposed to be Chairman Rose or President Rose,
whatever,
his
Rose.
name, whatever he is. It was supposed to be him doing it, and then there's like someone else doing it now, and it should have just all been part of the same thing.
Guys, go and listen to our Pokemon podcast episode.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We kind of talk about it a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, the post-game stuff is way more, like, urgent. And then, way more so than the, like, main storyline. And by post-game, we're talking about the Shield Bird and Sword Word or whatever.
Something like that.
Something like that. So, like, that storyline. So, how did you fare against fighting those guys? Because they were kind of hard, for me anyway.
I think I had one problem with... I didn't have a problem beating them. I had one problem beating... I want to say Hop, but it was only because...
Was it the very last?
Yes.
Yeah,
but
the very last
the problem was I didn't heal my Pokemon the first time, and then the next time, it's like... I had type advantages, it's just... I reset it again because I set my Pokemon out in a wrong order, and like once I got them out there, it was a little better. I did have a problem with like one Pokemon, and that was it.
I didn't die in that final battle with Hop, but it was a tough one. It was a very close battle with Hop, and like, it makes sense. Like, essentially, it's kind of your final battle.
Yeah,
like,
and that
really.
I mean, it was fine. Like that was delivered fine. But yeah,
what did you think about Hop
becoming an assistant?
Well, he wants to be a professor.
I thought it was fitting, I suppose.
I think so.
It was.
He doesn't seem like he would be a Pokemon professor, but like, I don't know. I thought it was a neat, like, character development plot for him to realize, I kind of suck at training Pokemon.
Dude, I suck.
So maybe
it's like going to art school and be like, you know what? I want to work on cars.
yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat. All right. So now that we talked about the post-game stuff, let's talk about Pokemon Direct that just happened like a couple days ago. I think
a few hours ago.
Oh, okay. Well, it was for us, but we sat down and we watched the Pokemon Direct together just a little bit ago. First off, they talked about the remake of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the rescue team.
Did you ever play those?
No.
I think a long time ago I played one, and it was just okay.
it seems like, is it more like story-driven Pokemon?
I think you actually play as the Pokemon.
Yeah, you do.
And yeah, there is like a story to it, I think. If I'm remembering it correctly. Like, I really haven't played much besides the main, like, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Ruby, etc. Yeah.
Pokemon series.
But I mean, it did look cool.
It did look cool. I think I would have preferred the original only because I like the little pixel sprites.
Yeah.
I think they're cuter than the like full-on sprites or the full-on like Pokemon like 3D figures that they have. It seems
like most of that stuff now just gets kind of pushed to mobile.
Yeah,
which
it does.
Yeah,
but I mean,
hear you.
They're doing like a full overhaul of this mystery dungeon game. It's supposed to be out in March. So yeah, I mean,
we're gonna be a little busy.
We're gonna be very busy in March. So unfortunately, I won't be playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon anytime soon. But no, it's cute. But it was just like, they're like, what else can we throw in that's Pokemon? You know what? Let's talk about this Mystery Dungeon game first, and then we'll talk about the cool stuff.
Was it you and me that was talking about thinking that they were going to remake Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about it at during the Pokemon episode. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah,
I honestly thought that they were going to reveal a remake for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, but I would assume that will probably be next year. Or maybe late this year, but that would be
I will be excited for Diamond and Pearl. I really did enjoy those. That was one of the first games I like purchased by myself, I think.
I still haven't played Pokemon Diamond and Pearl
I remember you saying that.
I haven't. That's the only generation I missed. I've played obviously Red and Blue, Gold, Silver, Ruby and Sapphire. And then I played like the Fire Red and Leaf Green, but I like didn't pick up Diamond and Pearl at all. I did play Black and White. What was after Diamond and Pearl?
I want to say it was...
Was it Black and White? I think it is Black and White.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to look at... Oh, Platinum is up there. That's what it is.
Well, that was the part of the...
It's part of Diamond and Pearl, right?
They released Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Yeah, but again, that was...
a remake.
And that's kind of part of their remake, like, series. So, like...
The next actual game would be, yeah.
Well, if you think about it, they remade Pokemon Red and Blue as Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then they remade Gold and Silver as, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Then they remade Ruby and Sapphire as the Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Yeah. So next is obviously Diamond and Pearl.
Or, in this case, it's... what they just announced.
They didn't announce that. I'm just saying that would be next. Like, I would assume by the end of the year, we'll probably have some sort of official announcement.
I hope so. I would be excited. Honestly, the Sword and Shield is the first Pokemon game I've really been excited for. And I loved Pokemon Gold and Silver. Yeah. And I bought Heart Gold anyway. Yeah. And I didn't play it.
Really?
I didn't play Omega Ruby either, and I own that one too.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. I don't know why.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver is really good.
But I guess I wonder, as someone who hasn't played Diamond and Pearl, I wonder how it holds now.
Yeah, I don't know.
This time, I'm curious.
I've been kind of playing with the idea of playing the games. Like, would you want to play
I would be
it for
interesting.
A review?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would be interested in playing that.
We'll put that in the schedule for later this year to try and play Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
I've never played it, so I would really be interested.
I remember it being good. I wonder if it holds up the test of time.
Yeah.
That would be interesting if someone who has not played it. Yeah.
I mean, it is, now that I think about it, now that we're talking about it, it is kind of a unique situation because I really have liked all the Pokemon games, and I was really disappointed with, I think I've said it before, with Moon, and I was kind of, disappointed with the story of Sword and Shield, so I'm curious to know if I would like Diamond and Pearl. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Well, no, but
I mean, it's a good side.
It's a good topic to talk about, though.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll put Diamond and Pearl on the list of games to play this year.
Zap Chats.
the Pokemon Direct, after they talked about the Mystery Dungeon, they went on to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion packs, which is kind of interesting. Like,
at first, I didn't watch Direct when it first did its thing, and my husband was telling me about it, and I thought, it to me at the time sounded just like DLC. Where this, it is. You're right. However, it's not just like
a microtransaction.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was. This is like a full on event, and after Final Fantasy 15 doing what they did with all of their, I'm kind of disgusted.
But 15 did it wrong.
But I guess what I'm saying is, I'm interested in this.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to this. I think it's a good.
This is more like a full expansion to the game. I know that you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, but like that's my reference to an expansion pack. It's taking the base game and adding more to it that's optional.
Sure, that's
but
fair.
It's in the main game. Like you can just turn on your game and you can go to this expansion area. So that's what this is. So basically, in June, they're going to be releasing Isle of Armor, and it sounds like it's just going to be this island that you can go to that has all this new stuff that you can explore and do, and it's got like its own little storyline, and it has its own legendary Pokemon. It sounds like that they're bringing in new Pokemon.
Old Pokemon.
They're
reoccurring Pokemon.
New
reoccurring Pokemon.
They're new to the game. They're new to the Sword and the Galar region, but they're probably going to be reoccurring for us.
Looks like there's some Pokemon changes too, like with Slowpoke.
Yeah, they're adding a Galarian Slowpoke.
He looks like he ate too many pineapples.
Yeah,
he's starting to turn yellow.
He does have some weirdness to like.
And they hid his face in the evolution, so I'm curious.
That.
I thought that was kind of quirky. I like that.
I did too. I thought it was like, ooh,
yeah, what
mystery.
Is this?
It's he does evolve, but into what?
He probably looks terrible.
Probably.
There's a couple.
They're still playing with the final design.
Well,
Slowbro.
when I think about Isle, I think about the Alolan versions and. Some of those Alolan Pokemon are like the Diglets
silly.
or the Doug Trios with the hair.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I'm
interested.
Yeah, I am too.
It's not terribly expensive for two different.
No, and I haven't even finished yet. So then, after June, when Isle of Armor comes out, then this fall we're supposed to be getting a second expansion called the Crown of Tundra. The Crown Tundra, and it's, the same idea where you have a new area to explore, all these new legendary Pokemon. They're going to have, in both of these regions, they have, like...
new wilds?
Yeah, a new, raid... raid zones and a wilds area that you can, co-op with, so...
Got some extra accessories and clothing options and hair.
Of course, yeah.
Which I'm happy about.
To be expected.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like your bag is going to be changed anytime soon.
No, and I'm really upset.
Maybe it'll be optional to remove it finally.
That would be nice. Yeah. I would take that, absolutely. So yeah, for the two expansions, we're looking at $30 total.
Which, when you figure it's like $15
per expansion set, that's not bad. Now, my first reaction when I heard about it was like, really, Pokemon?
Yeah.
This should have been in the game to begin with, honestly. This should have been stuff that opened up after you beat the game, and then you go and explore this. In the Pokemon Direct, they kind of made it seem like, normally we add a secondary game that had bonus features, and now we're not going to do that. We're just going to do expansion packs. No. This should have been in the base game from the beginning.
They almost made it sound like that they were done, but since it did so well, I was like, no, you intended to do this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they talked... There was a line in his dialogue where he said that it was something that's been in the works for a while. Obviously, they've been planning this from the beginning. So, I'm not surprised. It's just sad to me that I pay, $60 for the game, and then they want another $30 for me to complete the game. Now we're getting into Final Fantasy 15 area,
I think it is a subject on itself, because it's getting to the point where, are they doing it just for the profit? Like, could they have included this, but they didn't for the profit? It makes you wonder.
No, what I'm thinking is they could have included it, but they fell behind on time. So instead, they decided to add that.
How could
as
they fall
DLC.
behind time? They didn't even include. They replicated so many things in this game.
I know.
I mean, it was such a beautiful game. If they had actually taken more time, I would have. It's kind of like when they delay games. Like, it sucks, but man, you'd rather them do it right.
Exactly.
Look at Spyro.
Exactly.
They delayed Spyro, and I'm glad they did because it looked beautiful.
Final Fantasy 15 came out, and they delayed the game.
Supposedly 15's been in works for years.
Everybody was ticked off that 15 was delayed, but at the end of the day, when a developer delays a game, it's for the benefit of everyone. Because I would rather them delay a game than to push out a game that
is crappy and has problems
and needs to be worked on.
Has been done.
Now, granted, nowadays you can just send a patch out and it fixes it, but think about, like, if I were to pop this game in from the cartridge, all I'm going to get is the base game. I'm not going to get all the added features that DLC includes and all the patches that is released. Like, I get the base game. So, like, that from that point of view, it sucks.
Although, I will say, not that I want to keep comparing Pokemon to Final Fantasy 15, but it is kind of like you say, at least it's not like actual parts of the game that's missing, like chunks.
Yeah. No, this really is an expansion to what's already there. So if you found value in the $60 of the base game, then the expansion is well worth it. And really, in my opinion, yeah, it's
this is like passable, but
it's okay.
I have my suspicions.
Yeah, it's okay, but it really should have been in the base game. But whatever. I'm gonna pay the $60. Or the $30. It's gonna end up being $60
for
because
yeah.
Me and Lori are gonna do it. But I mean, I'm gonna pay the $30. Play it through. We'll probably have an episode on it. Whether it be a review episode or just a chats episode. I'm sure that we'll play it. I'm excited about the Pokemon. I'm excited about, bringing more Pokemon into the region. That's a good thing. They have some cool stuff like Dynamaxing your starter Pokemon.
Which should have been in the initial game. Your starter Pokemon.
I know. Yes, I know. Yeah.
When I saw them, it's funny because when I saw them, I'm like, oh yeah, our starters don't really have Gigantamax. Oh my gosh, they gymped us on that.
Yeah, they did.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they looked cool.
Yeah, they did.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine.
I was getting ahead of myself.
What I find funny about the Gigantamax starters is that each one of them has this, like, accessory, and that's their Gigantamax form.
Well, my Cinderace, his ears are, like, longer. He does have a little bit of a change.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Like, slightly. He's really just, like, on a big fireball. And, like, the Grookey's final, I don't know what his name is, but he's just got, like, a bigger drum set. And, like, my final, I don't know what his name is either, because I always call him Salt. But his final evolution, he's just, like, on a stand, and he has, like, a sniper rifle. Like, it's just okay. But the highlight, I think, was
the other starters?
The other starters, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Blastoise and Venusaur.
I loved Venusaur.
I love Blastoise.
Blastoise was cute
Blastoise has a freaking volcano on his back. It looks awesome.
We've talked about Venusaur. You have strong opinions that Venusaur is ugly.
He is
and I do agree.
Bulbasaur is adorable.
I love Bulbasaur.
But Venusaur just looks ugly. He looks like a big toad.
But now that I'm older, I kind of like that because I kind of think toads are cute. But I love that the way his flower looks now, because in the past, not the Gigantamax, but we're talking about Dynamax. The Gigantamax is the ones
I know.
Where he looked a little different too, and I didn't like the way he looked.
Who?
Venusaur.
He hasn't been able to. He's not in the game.
No, in a different game.
Oh, you're talking about when they Mega Evolve.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm getting my maxes maxed up.
I mean, it's essentially the same concept.
You know what I mean? His other, like, big form, I guess.
His Mega Evolution, they changed the form a little bit. Like, Blastoise's Mega Evolution, he got, like, cannons on his wrists, and, just made him a little bit beefier. But then the Gigantamax, they turn into, like, big. Like, they supersize them.
I like
freaking volcano on your back.
I know
ridiculous.
we've talked about this a little bit in the last actual review episode, but I feel like this Sword and Shield specifically, the Dynamax seems a lot better than the what was the Mega Evolution or whatever. Like, I didn't like that of the last ones.
It goes back to what we were talking about in that episode, where like it's cool that it's concentrated to
just
certain
one
areas
area
where you can't just
everywhere and anywhere
Gigamax whenever you want. It's only in very specific spots. So from that point of view, that's kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad that you don't get to see those like super evolution or the Gigamax forms very often. Yeah. That's the saddest thing. I want to see that Volcano Blastoise all the time. Like, he should just be roaming around as a volcano. It's gonna look awesome.
Again, though, I don't know. Yes, I don't know. I am excited though. I just wish that the starters were already. That should have been a thing that was already a thing.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. So something else that we kind of wanted to talk about. The Crown Tundra they had these snippets of the birds.
Oh, the original
they looked
Zapdos, like the trio, yeah.
The Zapdos, Moltres, and
Articuno.
They looked very similar to those Pokemon. So I don't know if it's a Galar like version of those Pokemon,
or if they're actually brand new.
Actually new.
They're so close. I just can't imagine.
They're too close.
Yeah.
That they're so close, in fact, that if they were in fact new legendaries, it would be sad. But on the flip side, the like lore behind Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos
kind of
doesn't make any sense that there would be another form of them somewhere else. So, that is kind of contradicting its own lore. But, like, the forms looked awesome.
Oh,
Articuno looked so cool.
Yeah, they were really cool looking. On the flip side, the legendaries that didn't look like legendaries.
Yeah, they had, what was his name?
I don't remember.
It was like Cub something, Cub Fu, I think his name was. And, like, so he's like a ninja bear, or like a
dog.
No, he's a bear, I think. Bear-like. But, like, he is a
like the
martial artist.
Yeah, there you go.
And, they have, like, a dark fighting style, or it was, like, a dark water type that he could evolve into. And, like, I don't know, it just didn't look like a legendary to me.
He seemed more on par with kind of how Lucario was to the games, Yeah. That seemed more believable than, like, a legendary, like... Even, like, Rotom. I don't know if legendary should be the word for some of these Pokemon. Like, Rotom, to me, was not like, he obviously wasn't because he turned into a,
He wasn't a legendary Pokemon.
I don't feel like this one should be a legendary, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But they were, like, a special Pokemon, which Rotom is not... I don't know. I don't know really what I'm going. It does not seem like he should be... held in high regard.
No, I don't feel like this Pokemon... I think... Maybe just because it's a new Pokemon, they wanted to have, like, this specialty event for him. But I thought it was silly. Now, they did have the other legendary that's supposed to go with... So, like, the Cub Fu Pokemon is supposed to be with the Isle of Armor. And then the
Regigigas... They're the Gigas... rocks.
Oh, yeah. That's not what I was going with.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, you're right. They looked awesome, and they're supposed to go with the Crown Tundra, I think. But yeah, all the Reggies are coming back.
Reggie and the gang.
Reggie and the gang. They should start a rock band.
Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. So no, they did have a couple. It looked like maybe 2 new ones. So right now they have the Reggie Ice, Steel, Rock, and then the Giga. But it looks like they're adding some sort of, like, electrical one, and maybe, like, a poison or dragon type Reggie Pokemon.
Reggie.
So that's really interesting.
They're adding band members.
Yeah. They gotta add new ones eventually. No, I was actually gonna talk about the legendary, the Triforce deer.
Oh yeah, the Zelda deer.
Yeah, the Zelda deer. I don't know.
That sounds like a Pokemon name, the Zelda deer.
Zelda deer. I don't remember what his name was originally. It was like Cyrax or something like that.
There's some crazy names.
But in any case, he looked cool.
Yeah, he did look really cool.
Aside from his tiny arms.
Well, he had a huge honking head, too.
Well, I think it was mostly hair.
Well,
he just had a little face and like this big bulb on his head.
He did look really cool, though.
But yeah, I think he looked really cool. He looked majestic.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm glad that they're going away from the super Pokemon, like I want to say kind of like how, Diamond and Pearl had their legendaries, how they're super huge and they're they got guns and and then you go to Black and White where they have the two dragon types that they kind of look similar. They're big and they got these huge wings and they're awesome and huge, where they're kind of trailing away from that as far as their legendaries have gone, and I kind of like that concept better.
The thing is the legendaries, I've said this before too, not that Pokemon is realistic, but it seems more believable when your legendaries are not the Pokemon of time and the Pokemon of space and dimension, and it just it's more believable that you, the champion of this region, caught this not higher Pokemon that is over this region, not the whole world.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But yeah, I mean that kind of was it. They have this expansion coming out. It looks pretty cool. It looks like you're going to be able to do a lot of new things and have more story to it.
Oh, what did you think about... Sorry, I just remembered the spot where you can catch past legendaries with co-op. That sounds weird.
It sounds like they're just going to bring the legendaries from older games to the raid battles.
Oh,
That's what it sounds like to me. Which is silly. Now you're starting to sound just like Pokemon Go at this point. So, that's how I feel.
It seems like they're just what can we put to add to this content we're releasing?
What I just now thinking about it, I wonder if that's why they didn't want to do a national dex. Because they're doing all these expansion packs that are going to have those Pokemon natively in the expansion packs. Because didn't he say in the Pokemon Direct that it was some 200 more Pokemon?
Yeah.
So now you're looking at the Pokedex right now is 400. Now it's jumping to 200. Say we get another expansion pack that has, 2 more regions in it with another 200 Pokemon. You're starting to get awfully close to that national dex number. And once that happens, then we're at National Dex, and everybody's freaking out for nothing. So maybe that's the ultimate decision.
Yeah,
maybe that's the ultimate goal. I don't know.
It is confusing. I just, my worry is that we're getting to a place where everything is just, it's about the money.
DLC. Can we squeeze another $20 out of these people?
And I mean, even microtransactions, that all freaking adds up, and
I know
it's frustrating, and I'm sure I'm not alone that it's outraging, people.
I want to talk about microtransactions in another Zap Chat, but I have to say that microtransactions are genius for different situations, and I think in this situation it's not a good thing. Because you're already paying for the game, now you're paying for the extra stuff, which again, it's fine. It's just, it's
I just want to buy a game that has everything in it.
Exactly.
I shouldn't have to pay for more of the game that should have already been there.
Yes, that's where I'm going with it. if it's like Pokemon Go, where it's a free base game, and you can pay $20 to add an expansion to it, it's kind of silly, but that's alright. I mean, I didn't pay anything for the game to begin with. Where if you're paying $60 full price for your base game, and then you have to buy all the crap on top of it, and the crap on top of it isn't
We're looking at you, Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know.
That would be a good Zap Chats for another
I think
chats.
they're not there. They're not there.
Oh yeah, but it looks like it's going that way, and that's what's
I'm
worrying.
worried about.
Yes.
That's what I'm worried about. So I'm okay with paying the $30 for this expansion pack.
But it's like, don't you dare do this to me again.
But it is nerve-wracking that they're just going to keep doing this. I think they should have done this with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They should have had the base game, and then they should have added the regions in as DLC packs, expansion packs, just like this. I did easily paid another $30 for the gold and silver expansion set to have Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, plus you can go to the next region. And then, in another year or so, then you add the, Ruby and Sapphire region. So then you're taking your team from region to region to region, and you can back travel. That would be amazing!
Which Pokemon game was it that you, where you could actually play the main game and then actually go back? I want to say to Kanto and do that stuff.
It was Gold and Silver.
I'm just saying, that was possible so many years ago. It's just, we're not doing it now, which I realize there's, a lot of more going into it, graphic-wise and all that stuff, but it's not out of the possible, so it is, we're being squeezed for money.
Yeah, it really is.
It's frustrating.
I would really like to see a Pokemon game where they include all the regions, something like that. I think
Skyrim.
I think Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee would have been a great example of that. Now, we were talking about the microtransactions, and really, there is a 2019 breakdown for all the, money that was spent on the gaming industry.
Oh.
So, Lori just gave me this. It's, for the mobile games, we're looking at $6.4 billion. $64.4 billion. Billion dollars.
Yes.
For mobile games. Okay, so now you move to the PC gaming, and we drop down to $29 billion. Still a lot of money.
Still a billion, yeah.
Console gaming drops to $15 billion. We're getting lower. The video game content, I think that's... I don't know if that's DLC or what, but that's $6.5 billion. Virtual reality and mixed reality gaming, that's $6 billion. So let's take these top three. We've got mobile gaming at 64, PC gaming at 29, and console gaming at 15. That's the reported revenue for these industries. And if you think about the mobile gaming,
was this the gateway, would you think?
No.
To all of this?
Well, I think it's the gateway to microtransactions if they're done right. So, if you have a game that's free, like Pokemon Go, and you include microtransactions to where it's completely optional, and, it's going to be easier for me to go to my mom and say, Mom, can I have $10 for my video game? She's more likely to give me $10 periodically
than 50
than 50 up front.
Straight.
So and I think that's why the console games have gone down, and even PC gaming is up, because it's the same concept. Like Fortnite is a free base game. Anybody can just download it and start playing right out of the gate. But if you want the coolest stuff, if you want all the coolest accessories and whatnot, you have to buy the boxes, the crate boxes. So it goes back to the way that money is handled. It's so much easier for little Timmy to ask Mom, hey, can I have $10 for this game that I didn't pay anything for yet, versus me, who have bought a $60 game, saying, I don't know if I can spend another $30 on an expansion. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? So, don't get me wrong, I don't want a free Pokemon game that I have to pay for every single aspect, because that would be terrible. But, that's the way that the industry is going as far as these transactions go. Because it's easier to get $10 every couple months than it is to get $60 up front.
Then it just boils down to shame on us for doing it.
It is, yeah. But, you can see the trend. And I think that's what I'm that's where I'm going with, the expansion thing is silly and it's tough when it should have been in the base game to begin with, but that is the trend. And it's sad.
I can see why that would work for mobile games, but I think for a game that you've already spent $60+ on, and then you spend another $30 just for certain things, or you have to buy passes for stuff that you don't even get all the time.
The biggest thing is it enough? Are you getting enough content for that $30?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, I think in this instance, for Pokemon, yes.
Okay.
I think that, not that I want to keep comparing Final Fantasy 15, but I think 15's was ridiculous.
It was $30 too. Plus you got all of the different chapters.
Right.
That should have been in the main game to begin with.
How much was 15 when you bought it?
$60.
$60, $70, $80, $90 for a game that you didn't even get all at once.
Same goes with Pokemon.
Well, Pokemon, though, like we were saying, that stuff is just kind of added content. Final Fantasy 15 was missing content purposely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's
what I'm saying, like, as far as, like, the microtransactions, like, for mobile games, it's a little bit different, but for this, like, this kind of DLC, it is...
Yeah, 15 absolutely did it wrong. Final Fantasy 15 did it wrong. No question about it. But for the content that we got in 15, the $30, okay, yeah, it's okay. It's stupid that they did it that way. It was the wrong way to go about it. But we still got a lot of content for our $30.
So are we saying then that Pokemon, how much was Pokemon? It was $30.
For the 2 new areas plus the 200 more Pokemon.
So I guess really what it's boiling down to is really this is now a $60 game.
No, now this is a $90 game.
Well, there you go. You're proving me more that...
Yeah, well, I guess that's all I'm saying, ultimately, is that Pokemon is doing it in a different way, than like, it's not like a free base game that you're adding bits and pieces of content to, it's the expansion. Like, is that expansion worth it, And you've got to balance that out. Like, the base game was kind of cut and dry, so it was like, is it worth the $60? Or would you rather have, say we got Pokemon Sword and Shield, would you rather have Pokemon Armor come out and have that be its own standalone game with this extra content included that isn't in Sword and Shield? Because that's the alternate.
I would rather the alternate, personally. Because
that's what they've been previously, that's the way that they've done it.
I understand what you're saying. I would rather the alternate, yes.
Yeah. So you would rather, like, play the entire Sword and Shield game over again in Pokemon Armor?
I would rather have a physical game.
Agreed. Yes, I agree with that.
That I know I have that content, not that DLC might be gone next year.
Agreed, yeah, I can agree with that.
That I spent $30 on because they couldn't put it in the original game. Yes.
Yep. Okay, alright. No, that's...
I mean, there's so much going into this, and really what it's boiling down to at the core of our subject right now is money.
Yeah.
Which is always, we've all known, it's just, it sucks. Yeah. Really.
But is that just part of growing up? That our world, we see more of the money transaction?
I suppose, but it wasn't like this. If when we were children, if we were adults, it wouldn't have been like that back then.
You don't think so? Well, I mean, it wasn't back then. But
it wasn't able to.
They weren't able to, right? They probably would have if they could.
I suppose it's just a matter. Well,
look at the Sega Genesis. They have... It's over there. They have the Sega Genesis, then they added on the Sega CD. And then they added on the 32X. And it's like, if you want to play the 32X, you have to have the Genesis plus 32X plus 32X game. So it's like, they've been kind of doing this idea for a while. Look at, Nintendo's been doing it forever. If you want to play certain Nintendo games, you have to have the Wii Remote plus the Nunchuck, or the classic controller, right. Or you have to plug in a GameCube controller. They've been doing this. It's just a backwards way.
I think it can also just keep going beyond that, though, because back in the day, that's kind of like why antiques are kind of valued, because they were made to be sturdy. Things back then were made for for the convenience of the customer. Now it's not about the customer, it's about the profit.
It's about making the money.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's really what it just boils down to money, which sucks because they act like they were on the direct. They were acting like we were doing this as a convenience to you. It was like, no, you planned to do this all along.
Yeah,
you
they
can't
really
even,
did.
you don't even lie to me.
So, okay, let's flip this around then. What would have been the better scenario?
To bring out the third game.
To delay the game, to have the expansion pack included in the game?
Yes. We've already established that we'd rather have the game be delayed and them do it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I guess that also boils down to personal preference.
Right,
because some people, like you said, the game was super easy. It was not obviously, but to me it seems like it was geared towards children.
When did this game come out, Sword and Shield? I don't remember. Was it
November?
So November to June is when the first expansion comes out. You know, that's
6 months.
That's a long time to push. Yeah, it's more than 6 months. It's a long time to push a game out, to delay a game. But I mean, really, they probably could have done a lot with that because they could have updated the base game a lot more. They could have developed the base game to be even better than pushing it out in November.
You know, I was talking to you guys via text, and I was playing the post-game stuff while I was talking to you, and they were talking about the expansions, and I hadn't seen anything about Direct and whatnot, but there was a few places in the actual game that were not accessible. I can't tell you where it is right now because I don't remember the names of the towns.
Was it the power plant that you're thinking of?
No, It was just another building. But it was one of those.
Sorry, it's like. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It was just like a random building in one of the main towns.
Where you're walking through and Sonia's like, oh, you see that building over there? And she kind of talks about how it's part of the power plant or something.
Maybe. I can't.
And it's like off in the distance, but you can't actually get to it.
No, this was a building you can walk to.
Oh.
And it was just closed off. Like, you just couldn't go in. Which I thought that maybe that was just something that they intended to just kind of work on later or something that still might be, but you couldn't enter it. It was just like, why?
Yeah. Why even have the building there?
Right, and that's where I thought this was going.
Just remove the doors.
Some of them you couldn't even walk into the buildings, even though everything else was cookie cutter, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
I was, in the review podcast, I felt like it was of a convenience to me because of how busy I am. But, like, the more we talk about it, the more it's like I'm irritated because it's just like they were cutting corners, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people share that opinion. You know,
it's such a beautiful game. They did a good job at the very beginning. Everything's beautiful, and like the more you go, the more it's just like, just throw it out there.
Yeah,
it's like I would have been fine with this being delayed longer.
I think that the problem right now that the video game industry as a whole is we're all over the place in the Zap Chats, and I'm sorry this is prolonging your
it's Zap Chats.
Experience.
We're chatting.
I know, but I think that like. The video game industry as a whole, the base problem that we're all dealing with is that it takes a long time to develop video games. And if it takes a very long time to develop a video game, that's money that you're wasting that you're not returning, that you're not getting in return. I think what I would have preferred, I don't know if I would prefer this or not. Like, What would you do? How would you feel about instead of Pokemon being released for $60, if they release it for $30 and say up front it's $30 now, but in kind of like what Square's doing with Final Fantasy VII, it's $30 now. But in June, we're gonna release a $30 expansion, and then in fall we're gonna be releasing another $30 expansion, and it would be the same price, but like,
well, I think in that instance they're being honest.
Right.
I appreciate that more than them acting like they're doing me the honor of adding content when they already intended to.
So I guess what I'm saying is if you alter your thought process of
I
that,
understand
like
what you're saying.
If you think that at the end of the day you're gonna have the main game that you paid $60 for, and then these two expansions that you paid $30 for together, if you break it down to like the base game was $30 and then each expansion was $30, you're at the same monetary value. It's just like,
I would rather be all in one game because
agreed.
Well,
or would you have rather them delay it and say, yeah, but it's going to be $90?
I think what the scenario you're giving me is convenient to a specific demographic, probably children.
Yeah.
But I think that it's to me it's just cheap. Like, just sit down and just do the game. Think about it thoroughly.
Well, I guess what I was saying, to backtrack a little bit, the video game industry as a whole, video games take a long time to develop, and that is like the problem. Because the video games take so long to... It's not like a Nintendo game that they could just whip out and in 6 months, here's another video game. It's these complicated graphics, these complicated gameplay, and, you know, if they take too long to develop it, then the investment that they're making into that video game is going down the drain. So they are, like, pushing to release it as soon as possible, cutting whatever corners they possibly can, which, yeah, it seems cheap, but, like, they literally, you know, you look at it from a business point of view, they can't delay it because it's money wasted.
I suppose, but then you're getting a cheap game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean,
it's just, I think that's the problem that we're facing right now.
Sure.
Is that these games take so long to develop, so the developers are cutting corners to make the investors happy.
Look the numbers you just got done listing. Yeah. They're still turning profit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Pokemon didn't lose money.
No, not by any means.
No way Pokemon lost money.
And it's I mean, cookie cutter houses. Like, it's one thing to do a few of them here and there, but just look at Team Yell.
Just change them up a little.
I mean, even if you're gonna try and, like, slide it by this, there was no doubt that they just reskinned. They didn't even reskin things. They just
do
cut
that
it
in past games too, though. Like,
this blatantly obvious.
I don't know.
I think you can get by with that with sprites. Like, it was a different time back then. We're in a much better place now. We're in a much better place.
And that goes back to development time. You know, if they have a very strict schedule, there's only so much they can do, and that's a problem. Again, that's a problem that
it boils down to money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And everything does.
My thing is, we've always had to wait a long time for video games, and I'm willing to wait, like I said before, if it just means they're going to do it right the first time.
Yep.
I don't care about patches and stuff. That's different, but just to sit down and think of the story thoroughly, to think we need several different characters. Like, there really wasn't even that many NPCs.
No, you're right.
So this was just lazy. Like, the more I talk about it, the more angry I get. Like, this was terrible.
No, I know. A lot of people share that feeling.
Like I said,
because
the beginning of this game was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It just kept getting worse as you farther along.
I think the anger comes from, we love the Pokemon series. We have such a dedication to this series pretty much our whole life. Like, you know, from the beginning in the early 2000s. I mean, you know, what was the first game? 90...
Oh, man.
Like 98? I don't know. It was early. So, like, you know, from the 90s and on, I mean, that's our childhood. We've dedicated our whole lives to this series. And, you know, for us to see their cookie cutter ways and to see the way that they're focused more on, like, the money than it is the dedication to the players, that's what's sad. And that's what I hope that Final Fantasy VII doesn't do. I hope that they're developing this game. I know that this
just out of pure love. We're all over the place.
We're all over the place. We're not, you know, I'm bringing back Final Fantasy VII again. But, like, I hope that they don't do that, because I have such dedication for that game that if they were to cut corners and stuff, I'm going to be angry. Just like people are angry about Pokemon, because it's a beloved series, and they don't want to see their beloved series get turned into this, like,
microtransactions and DLC.
Yeah.
The thing about 7 is, though, they have supposedly this is what that was said, is that they didn't want to start making it till they thought they could do it justice.
Yeah.
Which seems like, to be fair, there will be a big outrage if they don't do it right.
Well,
I mean, let's be honest.
Think of it this way. Final Fantasy VII is going to be
it's a big deal. I mean, really.
60, 120, $180 video game when it's all said and done, maybe more. Because every part is going to be freaking $60.
But it's
ridiculous.
But supposedly it's an actual like hours worth. Like it's an actual game, even though it's put into segments. That's what
they say.
And if it's not, it's like you said. They've got to do it right. They're going to do this. They've got to do it right.
It's a lot of money to invest in one video game. On the flip side of that, part of me knows I'm buying all these games individually, and then after all the games are released, they're gonna come out with this like compilated like
I know that's what I'm worried about too.
And then I'm gonna be like, oh, but I have to because it's 7.
Yeah,
just empty my wallet, just take all of my money. I'll sell my house.
In that instance though, they had like the first part that's being released has a bunch of like expansion, or like these different level packages you could buy. You're actually getting stuff, or like the deluxe edition. Sorry, edition's not.
What are you talking about?
Final Fantasy VII.
The first part comes with all these like DLC stuff.
No, not DLC. That's not what I was trying to say. I meant the different editions, like the deluxe.
Oh,
you're actually getting stuff with these. You know what I mean? They're.
All I'm saying is that, even if all you buy is the base game, you buy the base game to play the game as it's being released, but then at the end of the day, kind of like Harry Potter did, they at the end of the series they put all the games together, and then here you go, you can have this awesome pack set that looks amazing. So that's what I'm worried about, because I'm so invested into the Final Fantasy VII stuff that I'm buying the best package they have, and then at the end they're gonna be like, oh, but we have this awesome pack that all kind of goes together, and it's like Cloud's sword that you can mount on the wall, but like the discs fit into the sword, and I'm just making stuff up.
You should send this idea into it's like materia.
I know that, after I've bought this game, I'm just kind of buying this game again. I'm already buying the first part twice, so.
But here we're saying you're buying these parts as a matter of convenience of playing it now versus
right, yeah. And that's part of me wants to do it that way, to be honest. I'm not going to, but a big part of me wants to just wait until the whole game has been released.
If the first part is like content wise the amount of an actual game, then
I don't understand how, but
I don't either. But again, if that is the case, then I think that it's different than, say, what Pokemon has done. Like, giving you a game and then there's extra. Again, it's like, well, at least this way I'm getting a full game's worth of content. Like, it's just, it is its own series. Final Fantasy VII, but it's its own series.
You didn't feel that way about Pokemon? That the base game was a full enough game? I mean, I kind of did.
Yes, but it was short.
Yeah, it was short. And there wasn't any post. I think that was one of my bigger gripes, is that there wasn't any post game, because they were saving the post game stuff for freaking
when I'm talking about 7 though, like we already know 7 is being split up into parts. Like it's not a full on game.
Yeah,
but they've got enough content that it is comparable to a game that had like hours wise.
I wonder if their expansion pack. I'm getting all sorts of confused now. I wonder if Final Fantasy VII's their next
their next part,
if that's going to be any cheaper than the first one.
You don't want to be like the lady who tried selling you just disc 3 of a game.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I want to know is, like, am I going to have to pay $60 per part? Or if, $60 for the first disc, and then after... What they should do is they should have each part have a a discount code included. So like,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You pre-order disc 1, so now if you want disc 2, you can have 20% off if you use this disc code.
The thing. You're lucky enough that you don't have to pay to transfer your information into the second part, like your levels and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
For this much money, you can carry over your levels and all your items into part 2. Otherwise, you start over at level 1.
Right. And that makes me wonder too, like how are they going to do that? Like, can people just play the second part without having played the first part? Like, I have no idea how they're going to do this. I'm so mind blown. Or did I pay for the first part of the game, and that includes all the other parts that they're just going to give me as part of having bought it? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to end up doing.
You know, the only kind of DLC story-wise that I'm willing to accept from this game is if they don't include like parts of Crisis Core into this game.
You know what I want? I want Before Crisis.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Before Crisis so bad.
Well, it makes you wonder, like you said, how much they're going to incorporate from like the prequels and all that stuff, and then some, like Dirge of Cerberus and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, because Cloud's story is so like dependent on Zack's story, like you would think they would include it. But I was gonna say too that I think that acceptable DLC in this instance would also be like outfits.
Yeah.
Like
optional stuff.
That's what I mean.
That's what everybody wants.
Well, look at Tifa. Like a lot of people, which I think is really funny, but a lot of people were upset that she has stockings. Like a lot of people, like
she's not super.
She's not identical to her original.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, she couldn't have. It wouldn't have been realistic because they were talking about how she has an undershirt under her actual shirt, and they were saying like it makes more sense for her, who's a monk, to be more equipped. The monk, her fighting class, to wear these things, because like you can't. She has big chesticles. You can't be flying around with them.
Well, she sure likes to flaunt them.
I know you've been playing 7 years.
So like she's like holding them out in front of her, like, hey Cloud, boom, boom, boom. Like you can, like, she's motorboating him, like, seriously. It's hilarious. Oh man, sorry that got.
Well, the whole Zap Chats here is a little all over the place. I guess this episode really is just kind of talking about DLC as well. It's just how we feel on it. And I guess in some instances it's okay, but it's like, don't let it happen again. But we buy it anyway, and then it happens again.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it boils down to. Like, I'm gonna buy the series that I'm super into. I'm gonna buy it. That's my nature. I'm a game collector. That's what I do. And when I'm this invested, like Pokemon, I'm this invested into the Pokemon franchise as a whole. Why wouldn't I get the expansion? Final Fantasy, I'm this invested. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy every DLC outfit. I don't care. But if you're gonna have a storyline DLC, of course I'm gonna buy that, because that's what I'm interested in. So, I mean, ultimately, it's personal preference, but yeah, this kind of stuff, it's sad because in older series, all this stuff was already included. And if they wanted to include more story, you get Final Fantasy X-2, you get Final Fantasy 13-2, you get, like, a lot of that extra stuff needs to be...
Not about the money.
Yeah, I don't know. But... the world's about money. That's just how it is.
Everything's made to break now.
Yeah, it totally is. Well, you want to call that?
Yeah.
And guys, thanks for hanging out. If you made it this far, let me know. I'd be curious to know if you actually listened to the whole podcast. It's like, what, 2 hours long or something like that?
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening to this Zap Chats, listening to us ramble on about DLC, Pokemon, and Final Fantasy. I
15 and 7.
Rhyme, but no, but thank you again, and I don't know what else to say. Look forward to February 1st, where we're going to be playing Resident Evil 4. We're going to be reviewing it. We're already playing it. So yeah, if you want to see more of that, you can check out Twitch. You can watch our previously recorded stuff on our YouTube channels.
Head over to Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. We've got also. I show off my collection on Instagram, so you can check that out.
Teddygrams.
You can go over to Teddygrams, where you can watch me eat Teddygrams all day. No, that is not true.
I would watch it all day.
All day. It's just me in loop, just like four Teddygrams, but I loop it like 150,000 times. Anyway, thanks so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.